the clappy thing. All right, we don't. Hey guys, welcome to the channel where we talk about all things trucking and give interesting tips and tricks for drivers just like yourself. My name is Joko, and in today's video, we'll actually change the batteries on this Volvo VNL 860. Gabriel, who is one of our mechanics, will actually help me out. Actually, he'll be doing the job. I'll be just observing and, giving a voiceover for you guys so that if you happen to change your batteries yourself, you can do that. It's a very easy job, as you will see. While I'm waiting on him, I will actually remove it, unhook it, and just put it to the side like that. So now we'll have Mr. G, please step on the scene here. We want to remove the two nuts that are holding this bracket here so that we can loosen up the batteries. He'll be removing the nuts, like I said, on the bracket there so that you can take down the bracket and, get easier access and remove actually the batteries at the same time. You can use an impact gun, you can use any tool available that you have handy in your truck. Yeah, sometimes those nuts can give you a little bit of a hard time, so you just gotta push through it, or you can use penetrating oil to loosen them up a little bit. Mr. G has been with us for quite a while, and he definitely knows what he's doing. I don't speak Spanish, but if I did, we would be best pals, because I would know what he's talking behind my back. Just teasing you, man. So now that he got the bracket off, as you can see, we have access to our batteries. Now the batteries are being held together by these brackets right here. And Gabriel is gonna take off the bracket completely so we can, slide out the batteries easier. There you go. It's a simple bracket, held by these long bolts. It's a weird one, like it gets stuck somewhere in the back, right? It has like a hole where it gets stuck, and then you just tighten it like that. And that's how it holds together the batteries. Now what you want to do is, if you haven't done this before, take a picture of the whole setup here that you have with your wires and whatever is connected to your batteries. Because once you connect the new batteries, you need to know where everything goes in its, in its original place. Because you might have inverters, you might have APU units, you might have other appliances hooked up to the batteries that, they need to go back to their original spot so that you don't cause any short, in the electricity, in the circuit, and so on. So Mr. G will now loosen up the nuts holding up these brackets that are, holding the batteries together. Just make sure that you don't lose the nuts, and the washers that you get off of the brackets here, because you will actually need them. So Mr. G, what is one thing that, now that you're reaching deeper inside the battery compartment, that people should, be cautious of, they need to pay attention to when it comes to the wires? Don't mix up the wires. So yeah, you definitely don't want to mix up the black and the red wires. That's why you want to take a picture of how the wires are set up, because if you mix up the wires, you can fry actually your computer, your ECM in the truck, and there'll be tons of sparks too. So, it's a disaster waiting to happen, and it might even cause a fire, so don't do that. So you want to take everything off of the terminals and make sure that the red and black wires, they are put away. So as you can see, he's holding the wires so that he can remove the brackets. Put the bracket to the side, both in the front and in the back. Next thing is, take the batteries off, put them aside somewhere so that you're not tripping over them and they're not in your way. This is your empty battery compartment right now, and as you can see, there is not much to it, except now we have all the wires exposed, and installing the new batteries should be a breeze, when it comes to this. So you just slide them in there. And this right there, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, is Brian. He's our shop manager, or inventory manager, and we'll actually do a separate video, with Brian, where we'll talk about our inventory and, how to manage inventory. He's also a paint specialist. Body work and paint specialist, right?
For sure.
So that'll be another video in the making. So make sure that you subscribe if you don't want to miss that, just in case. Hey, real quick, 99% of you are not subscribed. So I'll just ask you to hit that like and subscribe button below if you like these types of videos and enjoy our content. Now back to the video. These two brackets here that we see on the floor are the brackets that are holding the battery terminals together. So these are the old ones and this is the new ones. Now if you see on the old one, we have corrosion that has formed here on our bracket, like you see here. If you're in a pinch and you don't have a new one, what you can do is you can take a wired brush like that, put it on a drill, or you can even like use it with your hand, and make sure that you clean these spots here very thoroughly and very good, so that we can make sure that we have good contact when it comes to reconnecting the wires. But if you have new brackets, feel free to use the new ones as well. In today's case, we'll actually put the new ones, and yeah, we'll let Mr. G to it. He's gonna clean the terminals now, the wires on the terminals, as you can see. With the wire brush, it actually gets rid of all the corrosion that, accumulates on the copper connectors. Make sure that you clean all of them very nicely so that, you have good contact with the new batteries. All right, so all terminals, all copper connections are cleaned. Step out of the way here. These batteries are quite heavy, so, make sure that you don't drop them on your feet. Place them in the battery compartment one by one in the same manner that you pull the old ones out. If the black terminals are in the front, put the new batteries again with the black terminals in the front. If the red terminals in the front, make sure that you have the red terminals in the front. It's as simple as that. And do not take off the plastic caps that they have on the terminals, like this one. Because while you're placing the batteries, you actually have your wires, flying around in there, and you don't want the red and black wires to cross. Like we said, that can cause a shortage, some sparks. And once you're fully ready to reconnect, the batteries with the brackets here, red on red, black on black, as simple as that. That's when you can take off the plastic covers, put on the bracket, adjust the batteries if need be, so that they're sitting in place, holding all 4 batteries kind of like in line and at an even spacing. Once you do the back, you can do the same thing for the front. Take off the plastic covers, put on the new bracket for the terminals, make sure they're evenly spaced, not moving. So the way you want to do it, you want to connect the red wires first and then the black ones, so that even if you touch like a metal part to the side, you won't get shocked, or you won't get sparks. So once you connect the red ones, then you connect the black wires. Make sure that you also clean the washers and the nuts that you removed earlier, that you put them in the same place that they were. And then later on, you want to tighten, but not over tighten. They need to be tight, but not, squeezing the copper, because copper is very soft metal. So if you squeeze it too much, you can damage it and it'll lose its ability to transfer electricity properly. So what he's doing now is he's checking all the connections with the batteries, make sure that there is no free play, that everything is tight in the right place. It's good and tight, like Brian pointed out. And now we will put on battery terminal protector. So what this does, it actually it protects the terminals from corrosion, and it prolongs the life of the copper connections. So yeah, you don't have to overdo it, just a little bit of spray. So now we're back to our initial brackets. What Mr. G is doing, he is threading the bolts, the long bolts through, because now he needs to work in reverse and reattach them back in the back. In the back you have holes where this end of the bolt will go through, and then it will latch like that onto the actual holder of the batteries. And then, with the nuts, you can tighten it and it will, pull the batteries together. There you go, Mr. G. It's a little tricky sometimes, but yeah, move the batteries, adjust them if need to. You want to lift the bracket just like it was before, above the batteries, so that it holds them in place properly and evenly. Now you can either use a wrench, hand wrench, or your impact gun to tighten those nuts and bolts. I think it came out. So yeah, sometimes you do get, you know, the bolt is not fully in the hole and it just slips out. So you just loosen it up and try to fit it back in the hole and, you know, and retighten again. This will ensure that the batteries are not moving and, you know, jumping around. So, okay, so he has the cords, the wires for to release the air, that's the air pressure, air tank, sorry. To release the air tanks, we put them right there so that they're not also, you know, dragging on the ground and we don't lose them or by accident drain our air tanks while we're driving. That's it for the batteries. Now we just want to put back the panel. And like Mr. G says, now what we want to do is we want to test out if our batteries are, you know, properly connected. So we will start the truck and see if everything was right. Then we should have a start without problems. And that would mean that the batteries are installed properly and, you know, the truck is on, so. And this would actually conclude our video here for today. You know, if you learned something, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, like the video for the YouTube algorithm, and we'll be doing a couple more videos like that for, you know, things that you can do either by yourself or on the road. So make sure that you hit also the notification bell so you don't miss those videos, and I'll see you in our next one.